Since many are passionate about sports, I'm going to use a sports analogy to paint a picture of what's currently taking place in our country. Sometimes using a different context provides a realistic perspective on what's actually occurring. This gives us an opportunity to step back and take a fresh look. For the sake of simplicity, we're going to have two teams, Team Right and Team Left. Team Right would consist of patriots and people grounded in objective moral principles. Team Left will be comprised of extreme progressives and people who are grounded more in feelings. This includes players, fans, officials, etc. Let's give a bit of history for Team Right. So as a newer backyard team with a completely different approach to the game, Team Right took on a professional team in 1776. Against the odds, they won. Due to the win, they had a say in how the game would be played in the future. They promoted moral and ethical rules, regulations, and standards to keep things fair and balanced. Many unjust practices that were part of the global game trend were acknowledged and corrected over time. And they led the way by exemplifying good character through ethical development. The expectation from that point was that the new standards of measure would be the guide, rather than slanted preferences. However, Team Left has been winning for over 50 years now. So let's go to the game and see how things look and feel under their system. First to note is the tarnished reputation of Team Right. Due to the ugly reputation of Team Right, the commission, now led by the left, sets the standards. Stepping outside of this is considered regressive for the sport, and individuals risk being penalized or banned from games for attempting to prevent progress. Merchandise and symbols of Team Right are scoffed at. Their accomplishments and heroes are deemed offensive and unwelcome as something to promote. So it's game day. Sneaking into the game without paying is permissible, but those who wait in line also have a surcharge to pay for the concessions of those who snuck in, as well as for those who feel like the venue treats them unfairly. As for safety and security, security guards can only address life-threatening situations as they are in progress. No intervention is allowed for theft under $1,000. Team Left fans, players, refs, and judges will be given space to intimidate if they feel threatened. However, Team Right will be addressed if found in violation of established social etiquette. Proof of vaccine determines where you can sit and mingle. However, some of the elites and those who snuck in are exempt from the vaccine and may mingle freely. MVP players, security, and medics will be required to show proof of vaccine. No exceptions. All restrooms and locker rooms are shared by biological males and females based on how the individual engages and identifies with gender roles. Being phobic is not tolerated. Side chat regarding statistics, concerns will not be tolerated. If caught, you will be placed in the no talking section indefinitely for breaking community standards. All entertainment and promotions will specifically highlight the culture from Team Left. So here's the game rules. The coin toss will be carried out by Team Left in private. At the start of the game, Team Right will be penalized for their potential fouls and bad plays from the past games. This way equal outcome is ensured. Team Right is expected to cheer when Team Left scores. Refusal to do so indicates the fan is controlling and prejudiced, especially against minority players. To deny this proves that it's true. The conservative whites on Team Right are expected to play passively rather than assertive or aggressive. And the minority conservatives, they're expected to be bench warmers so they don't make Team Left players uncomfortable. Leftist white and minority players will be celebrated for playing with passion, even if a foul is involved. If the player feels like they are penalized unjustly, then the ref or judge must retract or be relieved from their duty to be replaced with a more sensitive and less objective person. Team Left now has the authority to reject points scored by Team Right. They are the golden standard of measure, regardless of what anyone thinks they see. So why is this problematic on a personal level? Well, it's a painful game to watch. And because in the game of life, my family and friends are my favorite players, and just principles are at the core of my values, this game affects the safety and dignity of all of us. If we saw this kind of thing happening at a game, we would be shocked. But it has happened slowly in America. That's why we're not shocked. Injustice has been normalized. So we see it as this is just how things are now. So winning, fair play, and even shared power is no longer a possibility with Team Left. They favor control over liberty and fairness, and feelings over objective principles and facts. Let's start talking about what it looks like to practically separate ourselves from this madness. As a culture of principled people, what can each of us do to set boundaries and begin building back the lives that we had? And how do we help equip others to do the same?